What's going on, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium, where I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a debut on the channel. This is Night in the Woods. At the End of Everything. The song is called Die Anywhere Else from Alec Holauka. You probably messed that up. This is requested by Keats over on Patreon. Kind of a short one. I've never heard of this whatsoever. This is the only request in the entire log for this game. So, who knows? Fly on the Walls. I love them. Die Anywhere Else from Night in the Woods. It's like a conflict of generations of video game music. Sounds modern but old. Catchy. It's lighthearted, but it also sounds really visceral. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's meant to like lure you in to sound kind of nice, but it's actually like demonic. This is rad for a couple of reasons. Jeez, that was quick. That was quick. I was in the middle of writing something. Okay. Okay. I think this is kind of one of those songs that would fall under something that maybe you wouldn't take seriously until later. The first thing that comes to mind is something like a Chocobo's theme, right? On paper or on first reaction, you're kind of like, huh? No, that's silly, that's weird, whatever. But then over time, you know, like you start to kind of like hum it back to yourself and kind of appreciate it. It's not what you would consider right away to be like a banger per se and something very memorable. But that's subjective to everybody, like, you know. But to me, what I got from this was like, oh, this sounds like stuff I've heard in the past, where at the beginning I'm kind of like, huh? But then I kind of just like, oh, there's a lot of personality here. There's a lot of individuality here and unique character traits of composition, where I've heard now close to 1,000 different VGMs here on this channel. And I can safely say that doesn't really sound like a whole lot of them. You know, I think it's a fair statement. I mean, like when I think of stuff like this, I think of like those really whimsical, quirky type of games that are like classics that I really like for example, A Hat in Time. Music in that was incredible, and I played it and it was one of my favorite games ever. Ape Escape I've talked about multiple times. It reminds me of Ape Escape music. Just that kind of stuff that's willing to take risks, but also takes time to kind of, really appreciate. That's what I overall felt with this kind of song. Like, huh? But also, ooh, that's really cool. There were some very interesting artistic choices. Obviously, the whole recording is unique within itself. It's like a painting. There was a lot of abstract things going on. The percussion was really distorted. For example, they had like an 80s kind of sample, like do, but it was really like, it was really distorted and dirty. But if you paid attention, the synth lead that's going throughout the whole thing, doing the main melody, that was like crystal clear. Everything else was kind of like, a little crunchy and a little odd, but the synth was just like cutting through completely. It reminded me a little bit of like Undertale, from what I've heard. Undertale has kind of that same sort of like wacky thing, but look at the views for Undertale, and I'm not just saying for my channel, but like in general, they have like millions of views. So like I said, it's like kind of like quirky and weird, but it's also really unique, and unique in this day and age stands out. So it definitely reminds me of kind of like that whole Undertale Toby Fox thing. Drums were very interesting, to put it lightly. The whole thing sounded, here's one thing I wrote down, and the whole song felt like it was filtered. You know how like you take a picture for like your Instagram or something, and then it's, you put a filter on it. This song, like the whole thing felt like it was made, and then a certain type of compression or filter was put on it, where it has like this certain flavor. So it's like heavily edited, and that filter made me think of the game as in like almost like a disguise. Like, so if this, I can see this song being compared or connected to something that is like hidden or disguise, something like that, something that's kind of out of view. So that could be a character, a stage, a secret level, etc. Something like that. Very specific, but that's what I got. It felt like a kind of almost bonus section for figuring it out, an Easter egg, what have you, something like that. Of course, it's called Die Anywhere Else, which is super, what the hell. The whole thing is weird. We have a cat staring into our souls, which I think is a cat. It's called Night in the Woods, so it could be like a freakish, scary, kind of odd game. And it's called Die Anywhere Else. The imagination can just soar with this kind of song. And of course, the image, which I just mentioned, so very, very vague. So that was cool. Nothing wrong with it at all. It reminded me of a lot of cool soundtracks, right? I said A Hat in Time, Ape Escape, Undertale, all like amazing soundtracks to me. And it makes me wonder because, like I said, I have a lot of requests, a lot. And none of them are for this game, besides this one. And you know what's crazy? I thought to myself, I'm like, well, surely this has like maybe a couple thousand views or something. This right here has 600,000. So, you know what I mean? That's how interesting video games are to me. It's like 600,000, which is a lot, and 0 requests. Where's the disconnect? What happened? In the video game world, 600,000 is either a lot or it's nothing, as far as like maybe that many people haven't heard of it. So it's really bizarre when it comes to that mentality, but that's what makes it so cool to me. Is like you hear the coolest stuff from the most obscure games that no one's heard of. And hopefully with time, I consider my channel still kind of small. I know you might be thinking I'm crazy, but I've always been a small channel for years and years until recently. And compared to other channels, I'm still pretty small. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because ideally, with the growth of the channel, like I'm signal boosting these games, and they can get more sales and more attention, and that's great. They deserve it. That's cool. How else would you have heard of Night in the Woods? Word of mouth? Do you search it? Like, does it a random YouTube recommendation? It's, I feel good about that. So it doesn't happen all the time, but there's been a few, and it's a cool feeling, you know, when someone messages me on Discord like, "Hey, I bought this game because of your video." I'm like, "What?" I keep forgetting, like, a lot of people watch these. They're like, "Oh, okay." You know, so it's bizarre, but it's really cool. Anyways, let me know what Night in the Woods is. Let me know when this plays. Let me know more about Alec Halauka. Sorry for messing your name up. And really cool. So thank you, Keats, and thanks to everyone that you see on the screen. Thanks to you for watching. I really appreciate it. My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I hope you have a good day, evening, night, whatever. Peace.